Hi there, I'm Rob from Really Reviews, and welcome to another instalment of Wrestling Roundup. Now, I've just got back from Matt's house filming the 7 review that we did. Painstaking, but we'll leave that anyway. So that's why I'm doing it round here, by myself at my house. Anyway, in this episode I'm going to be covering the PPV Battleground, and a few things that we'll be doing in the future, probably. Now, the main event, John Cena versus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus Kane for the WWE title. I knew Cena was going to win it, in all honesty. I mean, you know, he's the face of the company and they want to push the big Brock Lesnar versus John Cena match at SummerSlam. So it's pretty obvious right from the off, before we even started, that he was going to win. But not many complaints from the audience, but actually, it was quite a good match, you know, lots of spots. Everyone was hitting their finisher near the end, which for some people it would be, you know, a bit of a spot fest, you know, but I actually quite liked it. Moments, well, Kane and Randy Orton, it looks like there's a lot of tension there. I mean, it could end up for them to break up or whatever. No Reigns heel turn, as I predicted. I think that was a bit of an ambitious prediction, to be fair. Yeah, so decent match overall. I quite liked it. What should I do now? Oh yeah, my main match of the night: the Usos versus the Wyatt family. Now I didn't expect this because I'm not that familiar with the tag team division, but I know the Usos have been on a massive winning streak against the Wyatts, and I figured surely it would end here, but they didn't. They actually came through, and still they retained their titles, their tag titles. Mind you, there'll be repercussions probably at SummerSlam. I'll tell you, if that's probably going to be booked again, you know, Usos versus Wyatt family. It was an outstanding match. So many great spots, so many high-flying action. I love high-flying action, you know. Once we get into our favourite wrestlers later on, there's bound to be a couple in there. And the Wyatt family, I mean, they started off, they got the first fall. It was a 2 out of 3 falls tag match. They got the first fall, so I figured, yeah, they could win it, you know. But usually when someone gets the first fall, it usually means that they're going to come back immediately, or it's going to go to a dead heat, you know. But the Usos did come back immediately, really. But not in a bad way, you know. It's, like I said, it was an outstanding match. There was lots of spots, lots of high-flying moments, lots of great intensity from Luke Harper. I think he's really he's going to be a gold mine in the future. But yeah, the Usos without a win again. We'll see where that goes from here for them. Now, Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. It was a massive mark for Jericho. I wanted him to win, and he did, which is good. Probably raised a few eyebrows for a lot of people. They all thought Bray was going to win. He was on the poster, obviously, for Battleground. And of course, Jericho does obviously have a bit of ring rust. You know, he's come back from after a year's long absence with touring with Fozzy and everything. And yeah, it was a decent match, you know. Jericho hit the lion salt, which I haven't seen in ages, to be fair. And he did the code breaker for the win, which actually came out of nowhere. It was a bit weird, because he hit the code breaker and it was a kind of muted sort of hush, almost. It's like, yeah, Bray will kick out of this. But he didn't, so that was a nice surprise. And then he went over to his dad and his son in the crowd, which is nice, Chris Jericho. Decent match. Now, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. One of my big predictions in the last episode was that Dean Ambrose would beat the shit out of Seth Rollins. And he did. That's what he did. But this was before the match even started. And he was actually subsequently thrown out by Triple H out of the building. So, therefore, Rollins won by forfeit. Now, I don't know whether the big rumour going around is that Rollins was injured and he couldn't do the match. But I think they're just saving up for it to all combust at SummerSlam, honestly. And that wasn't the end, though. Throughout the night, Dean Ambrose continued to sort of torment Rollins. He's got a bit of Stone Cold about him, let's face it. And, you know, Brian Pillman, that loose cannon persona, the guy who attacks the authority, literally, you know. I pray to God they do not drop the ball with Ambrose. He's just amazing. And it turns out, Seth Rollins tries to get away in his car. Ambrose gets out the trunk of the car and beats him up a bit more. And then Rollins speeds off, no briefcase in sight. Maybe I missed that, but shouldn't he have the Money in the Bank briefcase with him at all times? But, we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, 30-man Intercontinental Battle Royal for the Intercontinental Championship. So start off with, Barrett came back and did his whole "I'm afraid I've got some bad news" stick. Great. Barrett's a great guy, you know. I want him. I want some sort of title on him, like I said in the last episode. Doesn't have to be the world title, but just give him a belt. He's got a great character now in Bad News Barrett. You know, great heel character. And I said I wanted Ziggler to win, and he almost did. He really got close. You know, he eliminated Sheamus, and then the Miz had to come in. I don't like the Miz at all. I'll get into my most hated wrestlers another day, but I really don't like the Miz. I think he represents everything that's wrong with WWE. Not John Cena, but I mean the Miz, former reality TV star. He's basically from the hills, you know, or like Jersey Shore or something, and he's come in and he's winning all the glory. It's just, and I've never liked his in-ring ability either. I think he's very bland. But he won. He's the current Intercontinental Champion. So there we go. And Divas matches. Well, AJ versus Paige was actually surprisingly good. There was a moment in the middle where Paige was like, "Come on, AJ." I don't know whether she was loudly calling out a spot that they were going to do, you know, breaking kayfabe, but who knows. Decent match. AJ won. Just quickly going back to the Intercontinental match. Kofi Kingston, he always does this, doesn't he, where he almost gets eliminated, but he does something spectacular to not get eliminated. On this occasion, he goes up on Big E's shoulders. Big E's outside the ring, he's already been eliminated, and he's got chucked out by The Miz, I think, but he lands on Big E's shoulders, and then, I don't know how he does it, honestly. He's one of the most underrated performers for me, Kofi Kingston. Let's see, what else we got? I think that's about it. Rusev versus Swagger. There's a reason why I nearly forgot that match. Mostly submissions, you know, and Rusev wins by count out. I really hate this storyline, honestly. I might be the only one that does. I'm glad that Swagger is getting face pops. He's due for them at some point. But Rusev, the whole anti-American thing has been done to death. And of course, at the beginning, Lana comes out, puts the big picture of Putin on the screen as usual, says, "Shut up," as usual. You know, they've got to find a new gimmick for this guy. Split him up, find a new gimmick, you know. It may have been acceptable in the 80s, this stuff, but it's just not for me, really. I think that's about it. Battleground, decent pay-per-view, some good matches. No one actually won that I wanted to win, to be fair. Not a lot, apart from Jericho, maybe. But, it was a very decent pay-per-view. Certainly not the worst this year, you know. Anyway, next week, probably, or next episode, I'll be covering something. SummerSlam's not for another month, so we'll be probably covering SmackDown, some Raws, do some lists. You know, I'm determined to get Matt to be in one of these with me. I know it's my sort of specialist one, but you know, he knows a little bit about wrestling. So top 5 entrance themes, top 5 wrestlers, top 5 least favourite wrestlers. There's going to be loads. So until next time, I've been Rob. This has been Wrestling Roundup, and I will see you on the other side.